Hello everybody, this is Dr. Phil. This is going to be a quick video on corporate social responsibility and citizenship. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So the first thing I want to talk about in this video is corporate power and responsibility. So corporate power is defined as the capability of corporations to influence governments, sounds strange, but it does happen, the economy, and society based on their organizational resources. Bear in mind, a lot of these big corporations have vast resources. The tremendous power of the world's leading corporations has both positive and negative effects, as we see below. So on the left, let's talk about some of the positive effects. They have a lot of resources, more resources. They can lower their cost of production due to economies of scale. They have the money to develop new products, and they're also able to develop new technologies. Now, as far as negative goes, a disproportionate political system, they may influence the political system or systems of the countries they're in. Dominant public course, they may divide the markets because of their power, and also because of their power, they may squash competition. So the iron law of responsibility says, in the long run, those who do not use power, those as in the corporations, the firms, those who do not use power in ways that society considers responsible will tend to lose it. That's probably a true statement, but it may also take a long time for that to happen, potentially decades. So the meaning of corporate social responsibility. The idea is that the firm should act in a way that enhances society and its inhabitants and should be held accountable. They should acknowledge any harm to people and society and correct if if they're able to correct the harm, they should do so. They may forego some profits if its social impacts hurt its stakeholders or if its funds is usable for a positive social impact. So as long as they're not losing money, it's okay if they make a little less money if they're doing something good for their stakeholders, the environment, etc., in the process. So corporate citizenship. So what does this term mean? So let's start by defining the term corporate citizenship. So the actions they take to put their commitments to corporate social responsibility into practice. So the term global corporate citizenship similarly refers to putting these commitments into practice worldwide, not so again, just around the globe, not just in any one country. So companies can demonstrate their corporate citizenship by one, proactively building stakeholder partnerships, two, discovering business opportunities in serving society, and three, transforming a concern for financial performance into a vision of integrated financial and social performance. So the origins of corporate social responsibility. So at least in the United States, the idea of corporate social responsibility appeared around the start of the 20th century. Corporations under attack for being too big, too powerful, and guilty of antisocial and anti-competitive practices. To use their power and influence voluntarily for broad social purposes rather than for profits alone. So examples could be the steelmaker Andrew Carnegie, of course, Henry Ford, Ford Motor Company, and you can compare that to newer philanthropists, Bill and Melinda Gates. It's a very, very big, very powerful foundation. So what are the phases of corporate social responsibility? So Frederick, in the model below, provides an expanded framework for understanding the evolution of the CSR, corporate social responsibility concept. And it's chiefly divided into 5 phases. The phase number 1 is corporate social stewardship, and that really took hold in 1950s to 1960s. Corporate social responsiveness was the next one, 1960s through 1970s. Corporate business ethics was really the 80s through the 90s. Corporate global citizenship became more popular in the 1990s through the 2000s. And then toward a millennial future, is sort of really what's taken hold now, and will probably continue to in the future. So balancing multiple responsibilities. So multiple responsibilities of business include economic responsibilities, social responsibilities, and also legal responsibilities. So the challenge of any firm, any enterprise, is to try to balance all three. Now, a successful firm is one which finds ways to meet each of its critical responsibilities and develop strategies to enable the obligations to help each other. So what about enlightened self-interest? So economic and social goals come together in companies that practice enlightened self-interest. The company's self-interest in the long term to provide true value to its customers and also help for its employees to grow and behave responsibly. So a good example of that is Nestle. So business reputation. So reputation refers to desirable or undesirable qualities associated with an organization or its actors that may influence the organization's relationships with its stakeholders. The reputation index, sometimes abbreviated RI, measures a company's social reputation. It evaluates critical intangible assets that constitute corporate reputation. So Rating Research, a British firm, distributes the index and ratings to interested parties. All right, let's now talk about social entrepreneurs. So social entrepreneurs are driven by a core mission to create and sustain social rather than economic value. Social entrepreneurship is the process of identifying a social need and using their entrepreneurial skills to address this need. Social ventures are the organizations founded by social entrepreneurs. Now, the B Corporation. So, the B Corporation, in order to really sort of qualify, it has to meet rigorous, independent social and environmental performance standards. The B Corporation focuses on social responsibility and citizenship by blending their social objectives with financial goals. The B Corporation must prove it's socially responsible by meeting the B Lab standards. Now, if you're wondering what B Lab is, B Lab is a non-profit organization that assesses a corporation's social and environmental performance standards. So this is sort of think of this as like a sort of a designation, if you will, that a company is able to get. Now, Businesses for Social Responsibility, the BSR survey. The goal of a global citizenship management system is to integrate corporate responsibility and citizenship concerns into a company's values, culture, operations, and decisions at all organizational levels. One emerging trend is the consolidation of corporate citizenship efforts, and a good example of that, which you'll read about, is Samsung. So citizenship is an opportunity to, one, of course, create value for their organization, but not doesn't just mean financial value, social value as well, and also gain a competitive advantage. At the same time, also help address some of the world's biggest challenges. So think of these three things as if a firm is really committed to corporate social responsibility, and sort of environmental and social governance, then they're really looking for this three-pronged approach, right? Create value, financial and non-financial. Obviously, gain a competitive advantage because they have to be able to keep creating value. If they can keep creating value, then they can help address some of the world's biggest challenges. All right, thanks for watching the video, and I will see you all in a future video. Take care.